Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today you are joining me with my Audi A7 behind me, and in this video what I'm going to be covering is what it's like to live with this Audi A7, especially on those 21-inch alloy wheels. Now this car looks absolutely amazing in my opinion with those 21-inch alloy wheels, but I think that the ride is somewhat compromised. Now some of you might already know that my previous Audi A7 was riding on 20-inch alloy wheels. Now although these are in essence just an inch bigger, I do feel that they are ruining the ride just a little bit, and I'm going to take this car for that first drive with, because I know that I've not done one on this car, and throughout that vid I'll try and come across to you guys as to, you know, the benefits of having the 21-inch wheels and also the cons as well. So for those that are new to the channel, I'll quickly just show you around my A7. This one is finished off in the Glacier White. It's got the 21-inch alloy wheels, which are looking pretty nice, but we're going to be talking all about them. It is the S-Line model, quite bright today, so the car does look quite nice. If I just step back here, and in one of my previous vids we installed the rear spoiler, which I think breaks it up. It's really bright. My shadow's all over the car as well today. So yeah, this one's the 50 TDI, 3-litre diesel, and I really just like the way the car just sits. You know, the whole profile of this car is quite nice, being a sportback. We will address some of the chrome work down here, but I don't think it looks too bad on a white car, if I'm honest. It's got the Valcona leather, flat bottom steering wheel, and it's got the ambient lighting package as well, which is quite nice because then all of this strip down here kind of lights up. So just before we start today's vid, I just want to say that I am using another camera today. I bust my GoPro on one of my previous videos when I was doing some external shots. It went flying off the car. I might insert a clip of that now. So I am recording with my main camera. It is kind of stuck on to my windscreen, and it might just be a little bit shaky, so I do apologise for that. Now I do need to get like a bit suction holder thing for this. So yes, we are in the Audi A7. I really love the Audi A7. It's probably why we ended up getting another one of these as well with a better spec. I really think that the Audi A7 is a very stylish car. You don't really see many of these on the road, so that's part of the appeal as well. And the 50 TDI 3-litre diesel engine in this car is really well suited because it comes with the 8-speed ZF gearbox, which is a little bit questionable in its application in this car. But once the car is literally, like, you know, in motion, it's so effortless to drive, and you wouldn't really have this with like the 2-litre engines that they actually now rolling these cars out with. So for me it's always a 50 TDI. Now we're going to talk about, I'm just stuck in this traffic on these temporary lights, we are going to be talking about the 21-inch alloy wheels and how the ride is with those on this car. Now this particular car, I don't know why the guy who had this car before spec'd it in the way. It's quite an odd spec, this car. I don't know, I'm in the shadow a little bit as well. So from what I understand, and from what the sales guy told me about on this car, was that the previous owner who spec'd this car, he actually wanted a black edition car, which would come with like some of the options that this car has got: flat bottom steering wheel, 21-inch alloy wheels. However, he had an issue with insuring a black edition car over a standard S-Line, so he added those options onto this car. Bizarre, I don't know why. I've then gone and found some service history on this car as well, and for whatever reason the previous chap who owned this car didn't take out a service pack, so he paid over £1,000 for 2 services on this car, which, fair play, that's his cost really. Anyway, we're kind of deviating from the main thing on this car. The 21-inch alloy wheels, they look absolutely amazing, there's no doubt about that. Every time I park the car up, I do look back and I kind of think, yeah, you know, right choice with those 21-inch alloy wheels. However, I can't help noticing how much different they are from a comfort point in a bad way compared to the 20-inch alloy wheels. So the profile on these tyres is 35 as opposed to, I believe, 40 or 45 on the 20-inch. I think it was 40. These tyres are square setup as well, so they've got the same profile all around and the same width as well. You might be able to kind of see how shaky this camera is, and I am honestly trying to avoid as many uneven surfaces in the road as much as I can. This car doesn't have any adaptive suspension, so you know it's hindered even more. I know that you can get the adaptive suspension in this car, and then you can get the air suspension. If this car had either one of those setups, the ride quality would have been so much more improved. Unfortunately, this car doesn't have it. I think it was like almost like a £2,000 option at the start, and I know that it was standard on the higher end Vorsprung editions, I believe. So I don't think many cars actually even came with those suspensions, even though some of them had, like, you know, like a half decent spec on them, like this. The standard setup on the suspension is okay, but I think when you've got these 21-inch alloy wheels, it just makes the ride just so much more firmer. I mean, that was the first thing that I noticed when I first picked this car up. I went over the first kind of like road bump, and you just felt like a huge kind of jolt. So it is making the ride a little bit uncomfortable from what otherwise could have been quite a nice cruising car. But nevertheless, I am kind of still impressed with like the overall package that this car has to offer. Refinement levels on this car are pretty impressive. I do like these Volcano leather seats. I think they're a little bit more comfortable as well. You know, you've got the lumbar support in this as well, so it's got pretty much everything that you'd want, you know, from a day-to-day perspective. Obviously the 50 TDI 3-litre diesel engine comes as standard with Quattro as well, so you know, it is pretty much an everyday type of car. I mean, I've done about 2,000 miles in this car since I've owned it, and those 2,000 miles have been quite pleasant. Performance wise, I don't think there's hardly any difference between this and my previous car, although I do feel this is let's call it a little bit more responsive to the throttle. I don't know why that is. Maybe this is a slightly later car compared to the one before, so you know, maybe this has been like running better than the other one was. I don't know, but yeah, this one just feels that a little bit more faster per se. Overall, I'm impressed with this car. I like the spec, I like the way the car looks. I might be looking at changing the alloy wheels and downsizing them to 20-inch alloy wheels, just because although I do like the road cred that this car offers with those 21-inch alloy wheels, the 20-inch wheels just give me a little bit more comfort from a day-to-day perspective, and I think that for me is quite important. So if you are thinking about buying one of these cars, although the 21-inch alloy wheels look pretty damn good, from a day-to-day perspective, you might kick yourself and kind of think you might wish that you went for the other car that had 20-inch alloy wheels. Now I think even in the 20-inch alloy wheels, they do some decent designs, or you know, I might even just go and get some aftermarket 20-inch wheels and wrap some, you know, 40 profile tires around them or something like that. Unfortunately, I can't do that with these, because then they'll start catching, from what I've kind of read. I don't know how true that is, but let's just see. I mean, that's the internet for you these days anyway. Yeah. And when you're going through, like, say, just kind of bumps in the road, it's kind of a hit and miss. Sometimes you'll get this massive jolt that'll portray right through the cabin. Otherwise, it'll just kind of like smooth things off. That's a bit unusual for me as to how I find this car. Sometimes mid-corner, you know, you might hit like a pothole and on the rear, and it will just totally unsettle it as well, which is a bit odd. I mean, it pulls quite strongly. It does make a bit of a noise, but I think that's just something about the 50 TDI engine. It's just a little bit noisy. I mean, when I am going through, like, say, a mid-corner, and I do hit, like, say, a little undulation in the road, the car does kind of become I wouldn't say frisky, but it just kind of unsettles it a little bit, and that's a bit disappointing with this. And I didn't really feel that with my last car. Some people have said that it is like the characteristic of having bigger alloy wheels. I mean, I've never had 21-inch alloy wheels on any of my cars. I think the largest set of wheels that I've ever had was like 20-inch, which was on my previous A7 and also on the Porsche Macan, and my M4 was riding on 19s. So 19s have always been like what I've had from an alloy wheel size, 20 at the largest. So maybe it's just one of those. I mean, there's no doubt that, you know, this quattro all-wheel drive system is pretty good for the type of weather that we're going to now have for the next sort of 6 months, and I am really hoping for some snow and get this car out and actually see what, you know, how this car actually drives, you know, in snowy conditions. So as I said, guys, if you are considering buying one of these Audi A7s and you're thinking about, you know, 20-inch wheels or 21-inch wheels, I suppose one way around it is if you've got the adaptive suspension, or if you've got the air suspension option ticked, then I think that'd be really great. Otherwise, I think you, like me, probably struggle with like the refinement levels in this car on our battered British roads. So yeah, I would always just kind of advise stick to the 20-inch alloy wheels. They're probably going to give you a far better ride from a day-to-day perspective. Not that you're going to ever bring your car down to like these kind of country lanes or anything, but if you're like me and you like to have that kind of a Sunday drive and bring it down these roads, then, you know, you might struggle with having these wheels and obtaining a half decent ride quality on these roads. Hopefully, guys, you've found this video informative. If you have, then give it a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.